Hi everyone, it's Michael, and I am so excited to be back with my herbivore family to give you a tutorial on the ancient practice of Gua Sha. Yes, I am saying Gua Sha instead of Gua Sha because that's just how it's pronounced, but if anybody gives you crap for saying Gua Sha, cut them out of your life. You do not need that kind of negativity, boo. So let's just go ahead and jump in because there's so much to cover. What is Gua Sha? Well, again, Gua Sha is the ancient Chinese practice of using a precious gem or stone, like rose quartz, to scrape the surface of the skin to improve the overall quality of the skin. Can I say skin anymore? Now, I don't want the word scrape to freak you out because even though we are scraping this along the surface of the skin, you're not actually scraping your face up. So I want you to think of it more like a windshield wiper passing over a windshield. It's not scratching the surface, it's not creating chips, it's not gonna break the glass. So you really want to reflect that sensibility and how you're working with this. Again, you do not want to jam it into your face. So what exactly is this process going to do for you? Well, it's actually going to do quite a bit. The first thing it'll do is increase the circulation to your face. And that circulatory impact is so significant that it creates a beautiful plump, and that plump helps to impact the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. So this is a great way to just look more refreshed and polished. The second thing it's going to do is increase lymphatic drainage in your face. So any of those stagnant toxins, fluids that have just been sitting in your face, anything that's been lingering that doesn't need to be there, it'll take that and move it outwards towards your body's natural drainage points. That way you look less puffy and you look a little bit more awake. The last thing that this is going to do for you is really work on a muscular level. So it's going to help you work through tissue adhesions, muscular knots, any kind of tension that exists in your jaw or your face. And in that way, you're actually kind of able to sculpt your face, which is really incredible. Now, I know you guys have questions and I've got answers. How often should you do this? Well, 2 to 3 times a week is sufficient, but I like to get into the practice of doing it every single day because that's when you really start to hit a stride and see such a significant difference in the overall appearance of your skin. Why different shapes? Well, because people have different shaped faces. So on the Herbivore website, you have 2 options. You have the square or you have the teardrop. I always get confused when I say that because I think this one looks like a puzzle piece and I think this one looks like a kitty paw. Don't overcomplicate the step. Use your intuition and think what would work better for my face. I happen to like this one because it hugs my features just a little bit better and I feel like I have more control. So just look at the tools and see what you think is better, or you can do what I did and just buy both because you lack self-control. Why rose quartz? Well, as I've explained in my roller tutorials, rose quartz is the universal stone of love. Whether that is romantic love, self-love, friendship love, it really helps you channel feelings into your world. So it's a fabulous addition to your meditative processes if you really want to incorporate loving, healing energy into your world. What's the big difference between rolling and Gua Sha? Well, there's actually quite a bit of overlap here because they're both going to impact circulation, they're both going to impact lymphatic drainage, and they're both going to help with muscle tension. I think that the Gua Sha has the added benefit of a cosmetic lift because you truly are sculpting your features. So if I want to carve out a more sculpted cheekbone, if I want to see a particularly elevated brow, the Gua Sha really affords me that kind of control to how I shape and sculpt my features. Whereas I typically reach for my roller when I exclusively want to work on drainage, detoxification, and just overall clearing my skin in a physiological manner. So how do I do it? Well, the first thing you want to start with is freshly cleansed skin. So I actually did that before I even started this video, but now we can transition into the next step, which is ensuring that you have a nice lubricated surface for your tools to glide across. You don't want to ever tug at your face. So for that very purpose, I'm going to reach for my jasmine green tea toner, and I'm just going to go ahead and give myself a nice generous spritz. Smells so good. It's so balancing. It's nice and mattifying, which is good for my oily skin. But now I'm going to reach for my facial oils. Now, you don't have to be as complicated as I am, but I always like to mix the Phoenix and the Lapis because I enjoy the anti-inflammatory properties of the Lapis with the regenerative properties of Phoenix. So my happy number is 4. So I do a total of 2 drops of Lapis and then I do 2 drops of the Phoenix oil. And then what I'm going to do is warm that up in my hand and press it directly into my skin, making sure that I have a fabulous lubricated surface. Oh yeah, it smells so good. Now we're all set to start. Now I'm gonna reach for the tool that best suits my needs, which is this little puzzle piece square thing. But what I like to do that's different than how I do things with the roller is instead of starting at the dead center of my face, I like to work from the bottom up because again, we're going to invest in that sculpting process. And when sculpting your face, you always want to be working upwards. So I'm actually going to teach you something that I like to call the slide and wiggle. Anytime you're using the Gua Sha, you're going to slide it across the surface of your skin and then you're going to wiggle. Now it's imperative that as much as possible you keep the flat side of this tool against your skin. You don't want to use it this way because that can be a little too aggressive and it can be a little too sharp. So keeping it this way is the best practice. Now starting from the bottom of my face, I'm going to start at my chin and I'm going to do that slide and wiggle I was just telling you about. So I'm going to take this little curvature here and I'm going to work my way across my jaw, pausing anywhere I feel tension. And then I'm going to bring it up to my ear and give it a nice little wiggle. Now, I always tell people pick a number and make sure you stick with that number because you want to create a symmetrical impact across the entire face. So my magic number is 4, so I'm going to do that 4 times. Transition to the center of my lip towards my ear. And you may find it beneficial to hold your skin taut while you do this. You'll see me do that periodically throughout this video. But you're gonna drag that across the surface of your skin to just kind of hold everything in place. And look, you can already see the circulatory impact. Now this is really where you can let your intuition guide you. Because I wanna sculpt out my cheekbone, I'm actually going to rotate the tool this way, and I'm going to nestle my cheekbone right in between here and just kind of hug it to create that beautiful sculpting impact. So now I'm gonna begin to work through my under eye. Now it's super, super important, again, you guys, please use gentle pressure, especially in your under eye area. So I'm going to take the flat side of the tool, placing it directly in my under eye, and you need such little pressure, and you're just gonna work that up towards your temple and wiggle. Slide and wiggle. So now we can begin working through the forehead. And once again, there is not a one size fits all. You wanna find the appropriate side of the tool that works best for you. Some may wanna use it this way, some may wanna use it this way. I prefer to use it that way. So again, keeping it as flat to the surface of the skin as possible, I'm going to start right by my brow. I'm going to slide, wiggle, and I'm gonna repeat 4 times. I'm gonna repeat that process across the entire forehead. Now, some people like to skip their nose. I have too much nose to skip, so I'm gonna start here at the base of my nose, and I'm going to gently work my way up, all the way up the center of the forehead, and give myself a nice wiggle. So now I've only done this side of my face, but I want you guys to see if you can identify the impact. If I come in closer to the camera, do you see how this brow is slightly more arched? Do you see how you can see the cheekbone just a little bit more defined here? It's a subtle impact, but one that gains momentum the more consistently you do this. So now I'm gonna do the other side of my face and then we can wrap it up. So that's pretty much it, you guys. I've just completed both sides of my face and I feel dewy, I feel luminous, and I feel snatched. So as always, thank you for spending your time with me. If you have any questions, concerns, or feedback, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below, and I will be back very soon for another video. Mwah! Bye, guys.